Let's take a look at navigation and routes. So far, we've looked at single page applications, as you see before you. But what happens if you want a new page? What happens if you want to navigate between those pages? What happens if you want to share information between those pages? That's what we're going to look at in this section. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to just completely destroy everything we got here and start over. We're going to say void main. And we're going to run an application. To do this, we want a stateless widget. We'll call it my app. Can't do that yet, can we? Because we have to import the Dart package. There we go. That should work a little better now. All right, so we're going to extend our stateless widget. Now, because we're extending stateless widget, we also have to include the build. So let's go ahead and do this. We can just go right down to stateless widget, build, and bang. What we're going to do now is return a new material app. And in that material app, we want to actually do some routes. So let's say title. And we're going to use this application as kind of the framework for the next few tutorials. Now, notice how a route is a map, and it's a string in a build context. So we're going to say routes, and we're going to say string. And we want the widget builder. In here, we'll actually make some routes. What we also want is a home, which is, notice it's just a widget. So for now, we're just going to set this to null. Home's going to be the first page displayed. In the routes, we're going to have a list of all available pages. So what we need to do next is actually build these pages out. Let's go ahead and do that. Typically, what I like to do is I like to go into here and make a new folder. Call this screens. And then we have our individual screens. Let's go ahead and make one. Now we have our home.dart file. And let's use our live template. Get rid of this. Let's call this home. And let's have a home state. So if it looks very similar, almost identical to building a widget, it's because that's basically what we're doing. Everything in here is just simply going to be a widget. All right, so we've got our home with our home state. Let's go ahead and let's push this out here, and let's say, let's identify this so we know where we are. And for now, we're just going to leave that as null. Let's go ahead and save this. And we're just going to make forward and back buttons on that. And last but not least, let's make another one. And we've got that. So we have our 3 pages, home, second, and third, and we have no actual routing in here. Let's go ahead and add that in. So what we're going to do is we're going to run an instance of MyApp. Let's actually make that new MyApp. First thing that's going to happen is MyApp's going to load up. It's going to see it's stateless. It's going to call build, and it's going to say, okay, what's going on in here? We want to return a new material app, and, well, you guessed it, title with routes, and then we want to display home. So let's go ahead and import these. Let's say home. Nope, it's not going to pick it up. I have to do it the long way here. Package. Let's say. When IntelliSense is not helpful. Just going to type it out. There we go. So we're going to import home, second and third. We're going to make a new home, and let's go ahead and add our routes. There's a special context to these. Let's go ahead and show what this looks like. Or not context, syntax. All right, so here's the syntax. Basically, we want a string, and we're saying this string maps to, and we're building a new home. And then we're going to just simply build a second and a third. Let's go ahead and run this. And sure enough, our home is displayed. Notice how that button is grayed out. Let's go ahead and deep dive into the home file and see what's going on here. So we have a scaffold, we have an app bar, we have everything that we need to build an application. The only thing we don't have is how are we getting from here to the second page. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to say navigator.of the current context, and we are going to push named. And we're going to push to second. If you're wondering where I'm getting this string from, it's back in our routes right here. We're going to push to this page right here. So this is a route. A route just says that this string is going to run this code. So if we did /third, it would run this code, /home, it would run that code. Let's save this. Let's rerun it. Uh-oh, something went boom. Let's figure this out, guys. All right, so it says error line 2288 semicolon expected. Oh, I was hoping it would be something a little more challenging than that. All right, so there's our home screen with our next button. When we click this, there's second. Notice how we have this back arrow and it says second page and our buttons are grayed out. We can click back and it goes to home. That's part of routing right there. So let's go into our second page and let's activate these. To do that, we're just going to, through the magic of copy and paste, and let's just finish out our third while we're at it here. And let's make this one go, let's go back to second. So that one's working as expected. Let's rerun our app. So we start at home, we can say next. If we go next again, we're at the third page, which actually I don't think we ever modified third, did we? We did. Why is that not working? Oh, I have these switched around, that's why. Let's restart the whole application, and it should actually work this time. So we have home, next is second, next would be third. And then if we go back, it goes back to second. And we can also use this little arrow here. Now, notice how if I go next, followed by next, back, next, it's going to go to the second page, then it goes to the third page. It doesn't actually go home. That's part of your route, or I should say your route history. It tracks where you've been. This is how you get applications like, for example, Facebook, where if you go into a certain setting and back out, it'll just say, hey, this is where you were previously. That's the difference between your route history and your actual route, what you want to do. Now be sure to save this application because we're going to use this as a template for our future applications in the next few lessons.